The Fantastic Four First Steps, directed by Matt Shakman and starring Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Ebed Moss-Backrack, and Joseph Quinn, follows the fourth reboot of the Fantastic Four franchise. We see the titular Fantastic Four defending the world against a ravenous space god called Galactus and his herald, the Silver Surfer. Okay, so I haven't seen any other Fantastic Four movies going into this, but I know the Fantastic Four movies really don't have a good track record of being, good. I do know the general premise of Fantastic Four though, so I should get most of this. I'm really hoping that the First Steps leans into a more serious character-focused story instead of the usual fan service that the MCU has grown into. Off the trailers, this seems to lean into a lot more humor than serious moments, so I am a little worried about tonal issues, but for the most part this has a great cast, and Marvel has already proven they can take themselves seriously with Thunderbolts. I think First Steps looks very good. I'm pretty excited for this, but I'm also going in with a lot of caution. I'll be back with my initial thoughts. Okay, I did this one a little late. I saw the movie like 5 hours ago, but I can still do it. It was good. It was quite good, actually. There wasn't anything in the movie that blew me away. It's just nice to see the MCU is making story-driven films, and I really hope, I don't want to bring this into it again, but I really hope movies like Deadpool and Wolverine, I just really hope movies like that, we can recognize that those movies are not very good, because this film is good. It's a good movie. It has story. That Deadpool for me is not a real. I'm not bringing this into the initial thoughts. I'm sorry that got. I don't want to bring it up again. But still, it was good. I liked it. There's just nothing crazy, but it was good. It was a good, entertaining film. It had good story. I really liked the bond between the four guys. The Fantastic Four. When they said fantastic, I had war flashbacks to Miles Teller, but it was a good movie. I'm rambling right now. It was very solid. It's around the same as Thunderbolts for me. And there's a car going by. You're gonna have to listen to that. Okay, I haven't done this in a bit, so yeah. Back to my full review, the good stuff, the part where I talk about the positives. Yeah, that's how I do these. Okay. Can you feel the light? This was a lot more present in the trailers than the actual movie, but First Steps has a pretty cool distinct visual style, often leaning into a 60s kind of style. Honestly, for the most part, this 60s style is lost often and only pops up occasionally, but it's not that big of a deal because First Steps really leans into several distinct visual styles, which are all good. Obviously, we have the 60s style, which is pretty cool. It works as a nice opener, though as I just said, it definitely gets lost as this goes. There are some really cool ideas for shots. Johnny and Silver Surfer's first scene in space looks really good, and their final scene with the moon looks great. This feels like a really cool planned idea that was executed super well in the final version of the film. For the most part, the CGI here is all great. Silver Surfer can look really bad sometimes, but for the most part, it's either really consistent or really good. The Interstellar-esque scene with the black hole looked great, and Galactus in general comes across as super threatening based on his design and the way he's visualized. I could list a couple other great visual flares. Sue Storm's powers look really cool. I really like how invisibility here is visualized with this cool blur effect, or how whenever she's pushing stuff, it's done with blur. There's a lot of unique personal visual styles here that really work to making this feel like it was made with passion. For the most part, the most consistent best part of First Steps was the actual Fantastic Four. For one, all four characters are really good. Mr. Fantastic and Sue Storm are pretty good characters and work for the general heart of this film, but the real standouts here are The Thing and Johnny. Johnny's little arc around translating an alien language was really compelling, and his constant risky stunts were really fun. The Thing is my favorite out of the four though. His design is great, and Richie from The Bear plays him. What a great casting choice. I love this guy. The Thing's arc was pretty weak and unfocused though. He's definitely not perfect, and honestly, some stuff with pretty much every Fantastic Four member feels underdeveloped, but it's not that big of a deal, and I can kind of ignore it. In general, these four characters just have a super good bond. There's some really great chemistry between these four, and they actually feel like a family, which obviously needed to work for this entire film to function. Everyone here has their own separate interaction somewhere during this, besides maybe The Thing and Sue Storm. They maybe get one scene. Besides the great bond, every member has equal screen time. This goes to multiple aspects too. They all have their own arcs and side stories, but in action, they managed to make everyone stand out too. I really thought they weren't going to use Mr. Fantastic at all, but he basically is the focus of the final action scene, which really makes up for how useless he was throughout the first half of First Steps. These guys have a really good bond and are all handled super well. Lastly, First Steps has good pacing, editing, and directing. There's a couple of montages throughout this, and they all work super well. It's probably just due to a good score, but they are really well done. This movie movie communicates time passing really effectively. A lot of time skips go by really smoothly. I also really like how we get drip-fed exposition as the movie goes on. We basically get thrown right into the middle of the story, so we just kind of have to put everything together ourselves, which was a really smart choice. Lastly, the Interstellar-esque scene was really great. It's my favorite scene in the movie. It's directed super well, feels really tense, and has a great score to boot. I really like how stressful this was before slowing down into a much more beautiful moment. Overall, for most elements of this movie that I haven't touched on, they're all good. This is a very consistent movie in quality, which is why the bad stuff section of this video will be pretty short. Speaking of... Okay, so this is a really surface level message. Like, I think Thunderbolts has a good idea and really stuck the landing. The message of First Steps is mostly just family, and while I think sometimes that can work, and I definitely appreciate focusing on a topic that has always been associated with the Fantastic Four, the message really doesn't come across in this film. I get the family message with the Fantastic Four, but they also try to get that message across as the entire world being a family, which really fell flat. For a movie often trying to be realistic, having a really cheesy moment like this just doesn't work at all. I just think in general, this movie has a lot of cheese, which doesn't always work with the often serious tone we get. Thunderbolts definitely had a better executed message than this. I also kind of have to acknowledge the issue with such a simple message like this. I hope in the future MCU films will focus on less marketable messages that everyone can relate to. We're playing it very safe here, and honestly that's not very good. Last thing I wanted to mention, I thought the climax was pretty lame. There's a lot of jokes here that don't land, the mole stuff came out of nowhere, and that fake out was really annoying. Also, the final fight in general just felt way too long. Galactus was a lot more lame once he left the ship. I don't know, it probably was where the movie was at its weakest. I still don't think it's bad, it's just kind of okay, but it was the worst stretch of the whole film. Honestly, for the most part, nothing in Fantastic Four First Steps blew me away. The whole film is just really good and is really entertaining. It's cool a movie like this that's such a big deal sticks with a really simple idea and makes a grounded character-focused film. You can see they were really holding back during this, and it's good to see the MCU bringing back what made some of the original Phase 1 and 2 movies good. This was a very good continuation of Thunderbolts, and I think we can say we're kind of back. They're making pretty cool stuff again. Favorite aspects would be the bond between the Fantastic Four, the visual style, and the CGI. For my worst aspects, I'm gonna go with the botched message and the climax. I'm gonna give Fantastic Four First Steps a solid 7 out of 10, and on the MCU list it's gonna be at number 13 between Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings and the Avengers. While I'm at it, I might as well mention Superman since I didn't review it. Yeah, it's great, one of the best films of the year. James Gunn is a legend. Thanks for watching, listen to Vanisher, and this is an epic outro.